What is up, everyone? What is up? Sorry, I've been away for a while. I was working on the house, cleaning things up, trying to set up the ham radio, got sick. So I've been out of it for a while. If you've been in the Discord server, you've probably been paying attention to that. But what is everyone up to? It is Monday. Holy crap. It's already Monday. Yeah. Yeah, it's been hell of a trip. But yeah, I'm slowly getting back over all the things I was going through, and for some reason my multi-stream chat is not working. 1 second. So if I'm missing messages, I'm sorry. Right now I can only see the Kick, the TikTok, and the Twitch. But I know YouTube is up there too. We're trying to get everybody involved. Alright, let's see. Is this gonna work now? Okay. Sometimes this thing's a little prick. Alright, let's see. Alright, working on the TikTok side. Hey, there we go. Going to Vegas August 8th? Most likely. Probably going to have a couple of meetups out there. Nothing's completely guaranteed, but the probability is probably about 75-80%. I've been doing a lot of house repairs and everything, which obviously took priority. I don't know if y'all were here earlier when I showed the giant hole in the roof that we had discovered. So I had to get that completely resheeted, and then doing a bunch of other stuff. So most likely I will be out there. If I do, I'll probably be out there for B-Sides and DEF CON. Probably have meetups for both. And of course, I'm probably going to head to the DC shoot. If you're not familiar with that, I can't talk too much about that on stream because TikTok doesn't like that kind of talk. But, pew, 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 pew. How much was DEF CON 32? So the DEF CON 32 ticket was about 500 and some odd bucks, which I know a lot of people are like, wow, that's expensive. No, it's actually pretty cheap when it comes to cybersecurity conferences. The biggest expense is the hotels. You'll be at Black Hat and DEF CON. I've never really been inclined to go to Black Hat. That and the huge price tag there, and work has been kind of a prick about not seeing the value in that kind of stuff, but that's a whole other diatribe I don't want to get into. That they've been annoying me with, that they don't really... You have a bunch of these old farts at the top in terms of cybersecurity that don't understand the value in going to a lot of these things, and they just want to go to the corporate events, and I'm like, yeah, you gotta write it up. No, what I'm basically gonna do is I'll be making content this year about all the things we're doing, a little bit more than just TikTok. It's not a matter of summarizing in a report. I've done this before. I trained some of the people that went there before. It's just, you have tightwads that aren't even in cyber. And it's one of those things where I've just kind of said, fine, I'm going to go learn these things on my own, and no one in the company's going to learn it from me. That's kind of the attitude I'm having, is if you're not going to subsidize my education, then you don't get to benefit from my education. And as I've even earnestly said, I said, fine, if you don't want to, do that, then you can just, throw me some bits or a sub on Twitch or TikTok or whatever, and then you can pay me for my knowledge. Are you into crypto as a tech-savvy man? I was into cryptocurrency. No, to be clear, we're talking cryptos and cryptocurrency, probably less so than cryptography, which crypto will always, first and foremost, always refer to cryptography with me. rather than cryptocurrency, but most people call it cryptocurrency. But yeah, I was into cryptocurrency before it was cool. The one problem that I had with a lot of people when it comes to cryptocurrency is it's been overtaken by crypto bros that have perverted the idea of cryptocurrency was originally meant with. What I mean by that is you have crypto bros that are literally trying to raise wealth in dollars through cryptocurrency, when the entire system of cryptocurrency was designed to upend the system as we know it. So when you are valuing your cryptocurrency portfolio in dollars, you are counter to the entire idea of cryptocurrency, and you're just using it as another way to make dollars. And I will always be more of a fan of the original Bitcoin and Monero than all of these tokens and BS things and all of that. And yeah, I should put my Monero address out there for people if they want to tip me. I need to put that back out there. It's just not been a priority. Most crypto are going to zero. I don't think that's true as much as many people want it to be. Just as long as people have put value into an item, value is subjective. The value will never be zero. For example, baseball cards. Baseball cards to some people are absolutely worthless, but to many people they are valuable. The same thing with sneakers. The same thing with just about anything you could think of. There is always going to be subjective value to some other people. You may see it as worthless, but that doesn't mean that it in of itself will be worthless. Just like as if you've been in certain situations, you'll find gold or silver may be worthless, but there's still subjective value to it. The value of crypto is based on dollars. No, the value of crypto, just like dollars, is based on the subjective value that one places on it. They both are inherently based on the subjective theory of value. I think that's what it's called, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not an economics guy. Not gonna lie, I did my certs, and I think I've overcooked myself. Too qualified for internships, too unripe for work. That's why I always tell people don't value the certs way too much. The problem is you get pieces of paper, and then you don't have enough experience to back it, and you screw yourself. Not only that, there's too many people I know that have certs and not enough knowledge to back it, and then they cook themselves because you have this expectation that you know more than you actually do. I don't place much value in certs. Look, I have a CISSP, but as far as I'm concerned, it don't mean crap to me. It means something to someone else. And again, we go back to the subjective theory of value. I would use any world incident such as this weekend to sell the idea of going to the security event. Yeah. Real estate is the same subjective value. Absolutely. Some people, real estate is absolutely worthless depending upon the area, and it's subjectively more based upon some arbitrary factors. The whole idea of value in and of itself is subjective. It's not objective. That's unfortunately how a lot of the markets as we know it for many different things work. What's up, Nzanto? How's it going? Yeah, Bitcoin is still way up. Yeah, let's see. Monero right now is at $307. Waiting for my ticker to roll around. Bitcoin's at $106,000 right now. I don't ever see it really going down to zero unless there is some cataclysmic event that happens to absolutely break the entire thing as we know it. And I don't even know what that would entail. We could have our theories and hypotheticals all day long, but unless we have like an asteroid event. People once used shells, tulips, farm animals. At one point, there were even sexist ideas with how many daughters one could have because of the dowry you could raise. You know, so the idea of value is a subjective one. The only thing to break will be inflated currency. All currency is inflated. In fact, historically, all currencies inflate over time. Even the Roman Empire, when they used hard currencies, would devalue their own currencies by putting less and less silver in the actual coins. So I think, what was it? By the end of the Roman Empire, there was less than 1,000th or even a 10,000th of a percent of silver inside of it. Seems similar to the empire we have today. A penny costs more to make than its actual value is. Manure is worth how much? Manure! I hate manure! Back to the Future reference, if anyone got it. Won't the Bitcoin rewards eventually become 0 BTC, meaning mining is worthless? Not necessarily. Look to what Monero did. Monero has finished mining, but what they've actually done is they've done tail emissions. So you can always modify the protocol. So they have tail emissions that they will perpetually have a certain amount mined, but you can also make money, and this was always the idea, you will make money off of the actual processing of the transactions. People forget that mining in cryptocurrency is not only about, mining new blocks, it's about packaging the data into said blocks and also doing the actual processing. Now, will it be as profitable? Maybe not. But it's a deflationary currency by their design. Now, will that actually hold true? I don't know. I'd like to think so. But the idea of Bitcoin as we know it right now is going to have to radically change over time, because eventually that cryptography is going to fall out of favor. When you're talking about SHA-256D, eventually it's going to become old. Money is like government. They both function if people trust they work. That's why everyone is in debt. Well, yeah, the entire world functions on debt. That's the thing when you actually understand any monetary system right now. And that's what scares a lot of the United States whenever you've had governments that have come out and say, hey, we want to make a gold-backed currency, because if you no longer can actually issue debt based on the faith and trust in the United States government and our economy, that is a threat to the United States financial system as we know it right now. Yeah. But yeah, the entire system is basically run on debt. What is it? Like, there's like $40 quadrillion of value or something like that. And I forgot how much is actually hard currency. Don't quote me on that. But I remember there was like some weird number when I was having drinks with friends that we discovered it all came out to. The reality is that we do function on debt, because a lot of people don't know how to actually keep their money in check. And that's not just a US thing. That's a thing across the world, where people run into debts and you make people money based on the interest and everything there. Oh, Monero, not manure. Yeah. So I've been busy working on my ham radio, getting all that set up. I've kind of got it staged out over here. I'm really pissed off that the SWR meter that I had planned to install apparently won't arrive until November, but it should be fine for the dipoles that I've installed. And we're going to be setting that up soon, so that way I can do some DXs and contacts. I want to do FT8, Whisper, and a few other things. Eventually, I'm going to get that ham shack set up with an, what is it, a Life PO4 battery. That way I have an emergency comm station. I'm working on actually becoming, emergency comms, like, certified. I forgot what the term is. For my, local municipality. That way, if we have an STFU moment, I could actually be qualified to help relay messages and stuff. What are you planning with the radio stuff? To tinker, to learn, to communicate with other people. I've got my GMRS as well as my ham. I've been studying for a while to elevate my ham license. I haven't gotten into CB yet, but I've been doing Meshtastic as well. When I'm out at DEF CON, I'll probably have my Meshtastic device with me, as well as my radio. I can't decide if I'm going to take my DMR. I'll probably take my DMR with me, just so I can hit the digital bands. But I may at least bring my TIDH8. Ham radio messenger feels like you're preparing for the apocalypse. Smart. Well, the reality is, it's not just apocalypse. Like, look at the situations where we've had just within the past 2 years. We've had Spain and Portugal completely have a power outage for over a day, where people actually lost cell comms and internet for an entire day. We had AT&T and, was it Verizon or T-Mobile or all of the above? All of those networks have lost connectivity for an entire day due to a bad patch. However, radio's going to work. Because if you're hitting a repeater, you've got, wideband that you can hit everyone as long as you have the tone set up. But if you're doing, even the repeaters go down, you can still do a simplex connection and just find someone on a frequency and start chatting. As long as you're authorized to do so with the license that you hold. But yeah, so I'm planning to do HF, VHF, and UHF. So I'm going to have 2 antennas, an HF, get a nice little, I'll go through this when I do my YouTube video documenting everything, because it's been way too hot for me to set up the grounding and everything I need to do, because I got to get up on a ladder. I got to measure the cables out that I need. I got to set up the surge arresters, the lightning arresters. And got to install a few more ground rods, so I'm probably going to add 3 more ground rods to my house. So it's going to be overkill in terms of grounding. Hey, how are the USA doing? We're not doing well! Nice, I got a station at the house and set up some FlightAware stuff with lower antennas. LoRa. No, you're doing FlightAware, so you're doing 1090. You're doing ADS-B, right? Is that what you're talking about, Snow? I do some ADS-B stuff. I'm going to be, so I set up some masts on the side of my house. I think I put a picture in the Discord. I haven't shown what they look like right now, but I got 8-foot poles on them, so they clear the roof at least. Let me see if I can find these so I can show you, because I did it a while ago. Oh, that's probably in the Radiohead's channel. So if you're into radio, we do have a channel for that in the Discord and the Matrix server. You can get the links in bio for that. But as you can see over here, I put a couple of masts on the side of the house. These are put in with 16-inch lag bolts. And as you can see, there's one mast over there. There's going to be another one 6, 7, or 8 feet away. So that way they don't interfere with each other. And the idea is that I can actually attach multiple masts here. So eventually what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to get a mast at a slightly lower height, and I'm going to have my ADS-B, and then I'm going to have weather. So I'm going to do weather-related stuff, like pulling in NOAA weather images. And I'm deciding if I'm going to do UAT and ADS-B, but I'm definitely going to do ADS-B. I figure with this setup I have, if I get a nice antenna, I can probably get a nice 200-mile range. At least 150. With ham, I can probably... I still got to do the actual tests and everything, but with my Yaesu radio, I can probably hit all the way around the world. We'll see how I do. I may end up doing an inverted V antenna off of some trees I have. We'll go through that later on. But, yeah, so that's what I've been working on right now. I still got to, tinker with this laptop. I need to get this one together before DEF CON, because I want to use this as my little note-taking device. I just got to set up a better Wi-Fi antenna in there and get the cell modem set up in there. It's just I haven't had the energy to go about doing it. So eventually I will be doing that for sure. I'm thinking in the next week or 2. It's just a matter of I have to sit down, have the energy to do that mentally, Not physically so much, because it's not physically demanding. It's just I've been doing so much stuff. I got myself sick over the weekend trying to set up the fence. So for those of you that don't know, um, I had this really ratchet fence that was not really secure, and some of the neighbors don't really take care of, watching their dogs, and their dogs would get loose, and my dogs have already gotten into several fights with other neighbors' dogs that wander into my yard. And I have my dogs usually at least on a lead to, they're going to stay on my property. Um, Luckily, my dogs haven't been harmed or anything, but I've already had to kick a few dogs, and I love dogs, but, you go after my dog, um, I will kick you. And but yeah, so I've been working on this fence. It's pretty much enclosed right now, but now we're just on the final stretch of it. And there was this huge fight with a stump. Nice, I got a station at the. Oh yeah, he said. Yes, ADS-DB. It's smaller antennas, not LoRa. Yeah, you can get some nice beefy antennas with either one of those. But yeah, I don't know if I showed you. I think I did show chat this before, long time ago. Just to give you an idea, this is how big the stump was that we had to remove. That took us 2 weeks to figure out. Eventually, we dug around it enough with reciprocating saws and chainsaws. There was chain link literally brought into the stump because of it had just been growing into it for years. And previous homeowners just didn't do anything that they needed to do. And I'm trying to see if I should have the original picture of the stump. Those are some CTFs that I did at a local hacker conference. See? Got the How Remarkable Challenge. And there's one other thing, the Clona card. So I did some physical CTFs at a local event that happened. Too local. I had to drive like 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, there you go. That stump, that's what we had to pull out. And that was blocking my chain link fence from going in. And that thing, my buddy's been a landscaper for like 15 years, and he said that was the largest stump he had to deal with in all of his career so far. And the most nasty one, because there was chain link literally in there. Yeah, it took a break a bit from radio to set up my own Mastodon server and get all the kinks out. Mastodon is definitely a little beast. There's a reason why I use a managed host for that. Because I did run my own Mastodon server a few years ago. So I've actually been on and off Mastodon for a few years. I was playing with it first, I want to say 2016. But the reason why I didn't really stick with it at the time was as simple as it was. You think Mastodon doesn't have a lot of people now. It definitely didn't have a lot of people early on. Like there was tens of thousands of people when I was first playing with it. And I didn't really want to get into that rabbit hole at the time. And Twitter, while it, was not that great, it wasn't the cesspool that it is today. Will forever be called Twitter. I don't care. Anyway, it is definitely a bit much to handle. Especially if you're like me and you have so many different connections coming in and you run your own server. So it's a matter of just being able to easily scale and have someone with infrastructure that can manage that for me. There are some trade-offs because I don't get the full customizability like some other servers, but it works pretty well for what I need. Masto host. I just set up my first Raspberry Pi 5 with Raspberry Pi Connect. So cool. What's the Raspberry Pi Connect? I haven't really dealt too much with my Raspberry Pis in a year or two. I still have my Raspberry Pi 4s. Thinking of using a GM Tech G2 Plus mini PC for OpenSense. Thoughts? I'm not familiar with that box, but the main thing is you want to make sure that you have multiple NICs, network interface card. That's the main thing. You don't really need so much of a powerful CPU as people think. My PFSense box is running an 8-core Intel Atom Server Edition. Yes, they make a Server Edition because I wanted ECC memory. And honestly, that thing is overkill. That sits idle most of the time. 8 cores, it sits idle most of the time. Like, even when I am hammering that thing, I am maybe using, like, 25%, 30%. Yeah. And 150 will proc. Yeah, it should be fine for a lot of things. What's your remote in or remote shell in? I mean, I've been doing that with SSH, so I'm not sure what the difference is there. Unless there's some feature I am completely unaware of. Does Valorant work in Linux? No, because the developer does not actually do things ethically. And, as I will tell people, there's tens of thousands of other games out there that you can play that actually are better. I'll be playing Path of Exile 2 in a little bit, because I've been trying to get back into that game and, you know, crank that out a little bit. I was playing Doom Dark Ages, and don't get me wrong, I like Doom Dark Ages, but it doesn't feel doomy. It doesn't feel like Doom to me, so it's like, it's fun, but it's not the same level of Doom as I remember, because, like, I'm talking, like, original Doom, and then Doom 3. Doom 3 was the first Doom I played with, and Doom 3 will always have a special place in my heart. But yeah. There's tens of thousands of other games that work on Linux, and at this point in time, it's not an issue of a limitation with Linux as to why games don't play. It's simply that developers are not doing things right. And there is no argument that one person will make to say, oh, well, a game should have kernel-level anti-cheat. No, they shouldn't. It's a dumb thing and a disaster waiting to happen. I've talked about this multiple times. I have an entire YouTube video about it. And how they're getting worse and worse with it. Now they're talking about IOMMU requirements and things that just don't make sense, and it's going to cause more issues down the line. And eventually, you know, it's a cat and mouse game. Really. Oh, you're going to stop all the cheaters. Well, why don't you work on better server-side anti-cheat and figuring out ways to actually go after them without cutting corners? And there's no reason that any software aside from security software should have kernel-level access. And even that argument is starting to wear thin because Microsoft is even trying to say at this point, from what I'm understanding, a different scuttlebutt of, they don't want to allow kernel-level access to a lot of security software because they had their own set of issues, like what happened with CrowdStrike about a year ago now. Well, yeah, so, and let me put it this way. As much as CrowdStrike had their issue a year ago, I will infinitesimally trust CrowdStrike more with kernel-level access than I will let them trust any video game developer with. That, I will stand by that. I will die on that hill. What's up, Teresia? What project would you recommend that'd be a good practice? There's actually, there's quite a few different things. It really depends. Networking is always really great. PFSense manual always reads really well to actually learn how to do networking, different projects, things like that. You can do Grafana as a dashboard for like a sim kind of thing. You can play with Wazza for like sim EDR kind of thing. There's actually a PDF that one of the members actually put in the Discord. That's about 14.5 megabytes or so, with 600 pages of different virtual labs that you can try out. So if you go in the Discord, go to the pinned comments. In the general chat, there was a post by HBX. He has a great PDF that I definitely take a look at. But yeah. Are you playing the updated Diablo 2? I think it's modded with a few cool updates. I haven't played the updated Diablo 2. Did they have an update? Riot Games are the good guys, right? I can't wait to give them my data. You mentioned running a local LM, but was curious what the specs the machine has if you are happy with performance. It's just an NVIDIA 3070 and a Ryzen 9 5950X and 64 gigs of RAM. Yes, you will need memory. Yes, you will want, obviously, a lot of VRAM if you can do it. But the NVIDIA 3070, it's okay. But you can definitely tell there are limitations because you can only run a certain amount of parameters on there. So, for example, I find like 7 to 8 billion parameters is kind of the sweet spot for a lot of LLMs. But, of course, if you get a better GPU with more VRAM, you can do that. And this is why I'm getting upset with NVIDIA, because they're purposely holding back having more in VRAM inside their GPUs because they know it will hurt their market, because they're purposely trying to segment the market the way they used to have. Where you used to have, you know, your quadros, which were your professional lines. Like you have your AMD Fire Pros. What was it they used to call before the Fire Pros? Anyway, and those were your number crunchers. You know, double precision and things like that that engineering needed. But now you need more RAM than anything. So they're trying to keep more RAM heavy models on the professional side of things for like their LLM stuff, but they're killing the video game marketing market side of things and the general users because we need more RAM as well just for the regular compute things. It's kind of similar to like when they were locking down the mining GPUs and doing stupid things there to artificially, you know, reduce the performance on them so they could sell mining specific GPUs. Yeah. If you are happy and you know it, stomp your feet. Your thoughts on a solar powered PC and would it be viable? A solar powered PC is totally viable. The question more so is having a solar-powered PC isn't really so much of an issue. It depends on the context you're talking about. Solar power... Okay, here's one stupid thing that I noticed with the United States. Do you know that solar costs about 3 times as much as it does in Europe for a plethora of different reasons? Like, I learned that there are more artificial barriers to have solar installs in the U.S. Like, you have to pay permitting, local fees, utility hookup fees, things like that. In many parts of Europe, it's a zero cost. They want you to get into solar. Whereas here, they create barriers to prevent you from getting into solar. Now, as far as like a solar-powered PC, yeah, you could totally do that with a low-powered PC. Now, if you're talking about a higher-end PC, you'd probably, I mean, like, think about it. Like the Mesh-tastic devices that I'm planning to do, they're going to have solar power for them. And that's a solar-powered PC. Now, if you're talking about, like, this boy over here being solar-powered, it can be done. You're going to need an array of panels and possibly, more likely, a charge controller inside of a battery because you're going to have ebbs and flows in terms of the battery there. Probably want to go from lithium-ion to a LiFePO4 because they can recharge a lot better and go deeper. What are your thoughts on Project Stargate, the mega data center they are building in Albany, Texas? I think it's really weird when you put data centers in Texas, of all places. You have to think about they have cooling requirements, and a lot of times they have to place them near natural resources, water, in order to cool. Generally speaking, most data centers should be more towards the north. There's a reason why they end up being in places like Washington State, Ohio, Canada, because of cooler climates, access to water, and it's just cheaper to run them overall. Not to mention, some of those areas actually have really robust power grids. Now, I know there's the whole argument about having them run their own nuclear energy and stuff like that, Bloom Energy, yada, yada, yada. I've talked about this on other streams. But, I don't understand putting data centers in Texas, or really many places in the South. Wind turbines, tons of them. I can't imagine the water supply demand. Well, you're still going to need water, regardless, for the cooling. Because what a lot of these places do is they're not using closed loops for the water. They're actually using the water to cool the facilities in various ways. There's no one size fits all with how they work and everything like that. And of course, you have like immersive cooling with special, liquids and stuff like that. But ultimately, a lot of these facilities do use water ultimately because once you have all that heat dissipated into radiators, you submerge those radiators into water to carry away the heat. You can only transmit so much heat away via air. Air is a very inefficient vehicle of heat transference. Liquid is by far better. Solids work even better, but eventually solids have to dissipate somehow. Like, I can't imagine the water supply demand. Oh, like moonshine style? Exactly. Like if you've ever made moonshine, which for legal purposes, we do not condone the actual manufacturing of moonshine outside of legal jurisdictions, yada, 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 legal jargon, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, elbow, elbow. If you've ever dealt with moonshine, you'll know that when it comes out of that copper worm, you have to cool the worm. And like if you're using a milk can still, you may have it packed up with copper, but you're still at the end going to have this heat sink that has water coming in one side and then water going out the other side to transfer the heat away. So that way the, vinegar, shall we say, ends up coming out without in a better quality and everything. And of course, then you have your thumper kegs and things like that go into it. We're not going to get too into that subject here. Once upon a time, I had a fun time in college. Down on Copperhead Road. All right. XMR BTC. I'm more of a Monero fan. Is that apple juice? Well, it's juice of a grape. It's boiled juice of a grape. Portugal. They need a cooling system for the cooling system. Yep. If you ever want to understand liquid cooling and just how efficient liquid actually works, watch Moonshiners. I can't say go out and do it, because that ain't legal in many places. America, fix your damn laws. I just want to make some good brandy. But yeah, there's definitely a lot that goes into it. Mineral water cooling, that gets expensive, right? Yeah, mineral water cooling is more of just kind of an aesthetic thing. Can it be done? Yes. But there's actually other materials, liquids, that are more, conductive. There is actually better liquids for immersive cooling than mineral oil. Mineral oil, by far, is a really aesthetically interesting choice. It can be done. It can be done very effectively. But practically, it's not the best. Especially when you talk about the cleaning and all of that stuff. But the whole idea of it is really cool. Like, I've, made with some friends some fish tank PCs back in the days. We used to be able to get kits for them. And, have these little fish bowls and everything. And we used to get, like, fake little fish and stick them in there. I prefer fermented grain mash aged in wooden casks. You can do sprouted corn. You can do fermented grain. There's so many different ways. Bragging rights to say you have a water cooling system. I've thought about water cooling here and there. Now, remember, I used to do water cooling back in the days when we didn't really have as many water cooling dedicated parts, where you literally were getting auto parts to get it cooling, and we had FrozenCPU.com. I miss Frozen CPU. I think they're still around, but I think they had, like, issues. This isn't liquid cooled. This is just neon inside of here. The issue that I have with liquid cooling is while it looks cool, the maintenance surrounding it. I use my computers for work, so the idea of having to take my computer down, have it offline for a few hours to do a yearly servicing when I could literally just take a air compressor and go psst and be right back in business, I'm good. And the Noctua DH15 I have on the 5950X, more than enough. Yeah, we used to straight up use auto parts in a lot of our older water cooling rigs. There was a time when you actually needed to liquid cool your computer because these components actually got super hot. When they were running all the time at max speed. Like we're talking Pentium 4s. Pentium 4s, Pentium 3s would always run at that clock speed all the time. So they may have more or less of a load, but when you said we're going to have it at 3.4 gigahertz, it would stay at 3.4 gigahertz. Nowadays, CPUs, you don't need to go as crazy as people used to get the same amount of performance because your CPU will turbo and underclock itself based upon the load that it has and ramp up for thermal throttling and everything. Um, I think that overclocking and all of that is something that has been more of a lost art because it's not really needed as much anymore. And the people that do it, it's kind of like, cool, you're doing that, but did you need to do that? You see what I'm saying? I mean, back in the day, I remember when we used to overclock an Intel Celeron CPU to get Pentium 3 performance so we didn't have to spend the money. And you genuinely could save yourself hundreds of dollars. Now you're overclocking and getting just calling it Moonshine and Diablo 2 Friday nights. I gotta find Moonshine. Kind of reminded me of someone tried to use a car radiator for water cooling their PC. Yep. People used to get small car radiators to cool their cool their computer with it, and then would run a pump through it. Like, you have to remember, liquid cooling for computers wasn't always a dedicated segment. We had to retrofit other parts, pond pumps, car water cooling pumps, and things like that. And we would retrofit all these parts in, and then people would actually make CPU blocks and all that. It was really interesting to see all this stuff as it grew up over time. Yeah. Can you even say you're in cybersecurity if you can't pick a pick? Yes, you can. There's various kinds of cybersecurity. Lockpicking just happens to be a very popular hobby inside of cybersecurity. So, I know a lot of people that don't know how to pick a lock and are in cybersecurity. I just happen to be one of the people that messed with more on the physical side. Um, like I know from experience, walking into a hospital with a ladder as part of a pen test, um, would let people open doors and not even check your access. Um, just go into the ladder in a hard hat, you'd be surprised. People literally open doors for you to areas you're not supposed to be in. Um, you could walk around with a lab coat that just looks official. Like I remember I used to have this lab coat that I had embroidered Dr. Love. If you've seen Kiss, you'll know about that. And nobody would really stop you. Just, nobody question you. Yeah, but that's crazy. I found a loophole in the check system and system at FedEx ground station. Yeah, FedEx is notorious for like little issues. You got to understand, FedEx, UPS, a lot of these older systems are literally interfacing with mainframes. Like straight up mainframes. If you don't know what a mainframe is a really robust, rugged server that you can pull nodes out of and it'll keep on chugging. These are super number crunchers. And they're running ZOS. It's not Linux. It's ZOS. It's a totally different paradigm. Like, I've only dealt with them, like, on a very rare... Like, I've touched one once in my entire career. And that was merely because I was visiting a friend and at his office. And he's like, you want to see the mainframe? Like, yeah, let's go check it out. He had an IBM mainframe where he was working at. Fucker was like hundreds of thousands of dollars. But anyway, they usually wrap these mainframes. We're talking like Equifax, TransUnion, Experian. They're wrapping these with with iframes and all that, and there's ways that you can exploit them. It was actually shown at the B-Sides last year. There was a really nice lady that actually went through mainframe exploits because of just how you could change a variable inside a web UI to bypass the security rules, because it still has to interface with the mainframe behind it. It was really interesting, this talk. I wish I could remember her name, because she was like so intelligent on the whole idea of mainframes, and that's just a part of technology I have never really had the opportunity to mess with, and I probably never will, because mainframes are such a specialized piece of technology, and usually if you're doing mainframes, you're only doing mainframes. But they are really interesting pieces of tech. Like, they're designed to be like earthquake proof and stuff. I don't know if you've ever seen yeah, you can how's it going? You can show your models and all that in the Discord. There's no problem. Let me see. Mainframe IBM. So let me see if I can find the earthquake test. Here we go. Okay, so this is an 8.3 magnitude test. Let me reset Pipewire just in case there's audio here. Let me know if you don't hear any audio or anything. I don't hear audio. I don't hear the audio. Hold on.
Front, left.
Okay. I was like, how often do you walk around with a ladder? Not that much, but I actually used to be an electrician. Well, I apprenticed as one. So.
Left, front, right.
Okay, cool. Audio's working. Had to unplug it and plug it back in. Okay, so they're getting a test going. All right. There's some music in here, so we're not going to play that. So they're testing an 8.3 magnitude earthquake on an IBM mainframe. So look at that. That's the kind of testing they have to do on a mainframe. Your average server wouldn't be able to handle that. Mainframes are beefy, robust pieces that are built to, like, handle things. And the cool thing is, let me see if I can, let me see if I can find a mainframe picture so I can show you. That's a Z16. But basically, you can pull the nodes out and still have it operate, because they're all separate, like, independent. They don't like water, though. That's pretty much how it is. I was just talking about ZOS. Thank you, Kay. Finally got my Pop OS machine up. Great recommendation, brother. Yeah, I've been liking Pop OS. I have my little complaints with it here and there, but no operating system or distribution is perfect. But it seems to work perfectly for my needs, for a lot of the things I'm doing. Adding Linux Mint to my old 2012 laptop. I mean, that works. Usually I just use straight up Debian for old devices and then have LXDE or XFCE as the GUI for that. Try Arch. An Arch user, a Bitcoin bro, a vegan, and a CrossFit person all walk into a bar. Who talks about their thing first? What are your complaints with Pop OS? Well, right now, it's more so the fact that the stable version of Pop OS, LTS 2204, still doesn't have the Cosmic desktop environment. I know that's still being built out. And I would like to see more Wayland support with it. That's one of my complaints, because there's little things you notice, like stuttering with the Pop Shop, that has to do with the fact that it's built on GNOME. And GNOME has really, been behind the times with the foundation and handling and a lot of that stuff, which is part of the reason why they're forking off of that stuff and rewriting everything into Rust. Because the GNOME Foundation's just kind of been a mess, for lack of a better term. The Gen 2 user comes out from the back of the bar to one-up everyone. No, the reality is the Gen 2 user doesn't pop out because they have no social life, because they're always using Portage to build from source. Although I do have to say, the Portage package manager is pretty awesome. A lot of people don't know this, but Chrome OS actually uses Portage, apparently, for its package management in the background, from what I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was what I learned a couple of years ago. So, oh yeah, I already answered that. Linux Mint OS LMDE edition works fine for me, but Linux Pop OS is also good. Yeah. Did you test Kali with AI? I don't really use Kali all that much. If I do, I use Parrot OS for those kind of things. But yeah. Looking forward to getting my ham radio together. I'll probably be throwing Pop OS with Andy's ham radio Linux on it. Andy's ham radio Linux and I Pop OS would probably be nice. Or I may throw straight Debian. I'm debating if I want to use the laptop, or there's a mini PC over there that I already had to the back of a monitor, and I'm just going to use that. You don't need much performance when it comes to ham radio. Like, seriously, like an old Pentium 4 box is more than enough. Have you built the Cyber deck? I was going to, and then I got this, the MNT Pocket Reform. So one of these days, we'll crack this open, because I custom made with PCBWay. They're going to be sponsoring the video that this will be on for YouTube. Just so you know, the back plate. The reason why was the original back plate, which I have over here, had some heat dissipation issues. This would get the CPU up to 80 degrees Celsius, and this CNC 6061 aluminum one dropped it to about 50 degrees. So nice drop in there. But what I have to do is reorient the Wi-Fi antenna. So I have another Wi-Fi antenna I'm going to attach. And what I'm going to do in a future stream, probably take off this bezel. And I'm probably going to put a Wi-Fi antenna down here somewhere, or I may put it along the edge there, and then put the 5G cell modem down here with the 4G cell modem in here, so that way I can actually have data, and that'll shoot out from over here, because the aluminum's not really going to allow it to dissipate much, and it does have these little plastic bezels over here, which, well, the guy who designed this did a really great job, but they're more of a hardware designer, and they don't know too much about radios. And that's where I was looking at this with eyes of a ham operator and being like, okay, you lay your antenna flat over here, and then you only have this little piece over here And then you had that little PCB material, so it wasn't really able to propagate the signal really well. So that's the tinkering I'm going to be doing with that. Hopefully that'll be my laptop for DEF CON for my note-taking and everything, because I don't want to lug around the big-ass laptop. Although I will have my Cubes OS laptop with me in the near future. We'll do some updates on that. The Purism Librem 14 laptop that I have, this may potentially be the last DEF CON that it comes with me. Maybe one more out of it. Nothing wrong with it. It's just, well, getting up there in age. And I want to get a newer laptop. Not that I need to. Want, not need. And if I do, I'm looking at a Nova custom laptop. I want to... Purism hasn't really updated the specs in a while, and if I get a new laptop, I want it to have core boot. I want it to be able to be compatible with core boot and heads, which allows me to use a security key to verify the firmware on boot. So I can, you know, do the tamper detections, things like that, just like I've been doing with the Purism laptop. And Nova Custom is the only one I've seen that is able to do that, and I can also customize the laptop so that I can put my logos on it because, one, that's just boss, and two, it'll be kind of awkward for someone to explain, yeah, I got this laptop, where's that logo from? And it happens to be my logo. You know, the Renegade Tux, the little tux with the rifle. That'll be interesting. Because, like, somebody takes that, they're going to have to scratch the whole thing off and make the laptop look ugly. Anyway, but yeah. What's up, Professor Kilroy? Yeah, I've been busy with the house and everything, as I was talking about early on in the stream. Trying to do some stuff to get a fenced-in area for the dogs and all that stuff. Working on that. Speaking of DEF CON. What about DEF CON? What's a good pet insurance? There's a couple I've heard of. There's Healthy Paws and there's Fido. I have pet insurance on my dogs. I've heard good things about both of them. I haven't had to make claims on my dogs, thankfully, yet. But I do advise people, if you love your dogs, get pet insurance for them. Do your research, though, because there are some shady ones out there. Some employers actually do offer pet insurance. But yeah, definitely look into pet insurance. And for those of you that are like, well, you know, it's going to cost me money every month, all that. Well, here's the reality. You're eventually going to have to spend thousands and thousands in bills. And when it comes to your little guy, you're going to want to make sure that they have the best care possible. And that's just one thing that I'm looking at to eventually lessen the cost. Because I remember when my dog was end of life before, that was a pain to go through. And it costs thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in the family to keep that boy alive. But, yeah. Luckily, my dogs are in good health. Yeah. Insurance is always a good thing to have. But you hope to never use it. Alright. We can still chat and do all the techie stuff. We're just going to flip over into Path of Exile 2. By the way, I think I figured out how we can fix the audio crackling issues. We're going to test that out. I was reading into some forums and stuff about people that were fixing this. Good God. Blasted my ear off. I've also been wanting to play Morrowind some more. And Oblivion. But I feel like I'd have to devote myself for a while for that. And it also takes me, like, a while to get into that kind of a game mode. Although we've gotten pretty far on Oblivion, the remastered version. Although it's kind of interesting getting back in Oblivion. You're just like, yeah, there was a few things that they definitely could have really improved on that game. Okay. I remember I got like pretty far as a warrior before, but this game is definitely not warrior friendly. And it's kind of interesting to see how they still haven't like added a lot of features into this game, even though hasn't it been like a year this game's been in like pre-release? I have to say, I kind of get annoyed with the way video games have kind of turned into, where we can release the game before it's finished and then have it in a not finished state for like several years. I want to get into cybersecurity and DevSecOps. CompTIA programs worth it? I mean, they can be if you have the right HR person that cares about that stuff, just being honest, but I didn't get any degrees or certs to get into cybersecurity. I've just kind of worked my way into it. My background was actually more of an electrician. And then I had a tech background, of course, because I grew up with Linux and stuff as a kid, but you can learn a lot of this stuff on your own. Where am I going? The vascular outputs. Are projects really that important? Projects are definitely more important. I've seen this firsthand where a lot of people focus too much on the certs and everything. Certs don't give you applicable knowledge. Certs will teach you how a vendor wants to do things, perhaps, or, you know, at most, you know, what you call it, or how it's just kind of a, I'm trying to think of the word, a generic way of working through things in a vendor agnostic approach, but it doesn't necessarily translate a lot into how it's going to work when you're actually in the field. And the other thing is, you're gonna learn field experience is what's gonna matter more than anything, whether it's project experience in your home lab or things you're doing at work to learn. Because anyone can like study and soak up knowledge to vomit it on a paper and, you know, pass a test. But it's another when you're actually in the heat of the moment. And I've met a lot of people that like freak out when actual issues happen and are shocked when they're like, how are you so calm when I like broke the entire system? Like, I literally had a new guy actually say that when I was like, dude, just chill out. And I had to like tell him in the meeting, like, I am going to mute you so I can actually work on this issue because your panic is not really helping. And I muted him in the Teams call. And he was like shocked, like, how are you so calm? And I'm like, because I've been in far worse situations. And I also knew there was a backup, and it was just a matter of, yeah, I back up for these reasons in case people like you break it. Starting my program next month. I work Stadium Security at the moment, so hoping I succeed. Well, Stadium Security actually could translate nicely if you're talking about physical security, because physical security is a big part of cybersecurity. A lot of people think cybersecurity just has to do with only the digital side of things, when people could not be more wrong. You have to talk about the physical security of the servers, so that way you can, physical access trumps all. Talking about physical access to the data centers, everything there. Yeah, there could be some transferable skills. Hell, I know a guy in cybersecurity that used to be a prison guard. You have to understand human behaviors. And I feel like a lot of the people that get coddled too much and are just like, oh, cybersecurity looks like a cool career, but don't actually understand how people will psychologically F you over, aren't well suited for cybersecurity. And I think that's the problem, is a lot of people are looking at cybersecurity as this, like, ooh, it's cool, hip, career and everything like networking used to be, but it requires a certain personality and mindset. You have to have an inquisitive mind, and you also have to be willing to know that anyone is capable of doing bad things. And also think about how trust could be exploited. Okay, let's see. I have a lesser rune of resolve. I am almost to the next level. Yeah, I do need courses on counterterrorism quite a lot, and feel that might play into it possibly. Well, counterterrorism, the honest truth is, well, maybe I have a different outlook on this, because I actually lived in countries where you had to deal with terrorism. It's just understanding the idea of a soft target and how people would actually do things for terrorism. Terrorism is basically just that, terrorizing people. So once you actually understand what methods could actually frighten a person, that opens up your understanding of how this works.
Stay on it. There's our target. Strike fast. Don't give it a chance to recover. Spirit core.
Okay, come on.
You're down. Don't let up. Spirit's will be done. Feel the shock. Don't lose focus.
Hooray! Got him. These little wisp guys are kind of interesting little touch to the game. The Wi-Fi card in my smart TV went out. Instead of replacing it, I built a Raspberry Pi 5 with Ubuntu. What would you recommend running so that I can run all my streaming apps? Honestly, what I've done, and this might be janky for today, ran a a Kodi box with, what you call it? Ooh, it's got a little bit more. I'm gonna have to save that for later. And I just had straight Firefox on it. And then would actually do my streaming apps through there. Now, the one thing you should know is that there's certain streaming apps that no matter what I tried, would not work on Linux. I can't remember if it was, is it Crunchyroll or Disney? So one of the apps, I can't remember what it was. Yeah, and that's a limitation of the apps themselves, not so much of Linux. We were doing so well with apps having support on Linux, and the irony is these Android boxes and Roku boxes and all that, they are Linux. So I don't know why it'll work fine on Android, but it won't work fine on Linux, when ultimately it's the same thing. And running it in Chrome wouldn't really help fix the issue either. There are some Linux workarounds you can probably look on Reddit forums and stuff for. I just haven't really done them in a while. I've been lazy and just got a Roku stick after a while.
Very few possessions, and I don't have room for that.
$60.40. Oh, $68. So that is a slightly better jacket, but okay. Alright, so now I need to go to Zarka. Disenchant the items. Oh, that's why. 38% increase boost. Gain 5 mana per enemy killed. Okay. Let's go back to the stash. Put my shards on the Regal Orb thing over there. The one thing that makes me so happy about this game is knowing that I'm better than Elon Musk at it. Maybe not in terms of stats, because I don't have the money to hire someone else to play it for me. But the fact that I can actually play the game. And I know I'm not a really good player. I just know that I'm better than Elon at it. It still blows my mind that a guy like that actually has such a weak ego that he feels like he has to be the best at something. I don't feel like I have to be the best at really anything. It's kind of cooler when you're not, because then you actually get to learn from other people. There's always more learning one can do. This is Path of Exile 2. Okay, so which way do we need to go? Travel to the Traitor's Passage. Path of Exile 2. Pretty fun game. I actually like this more than I did Diablo 4. Now, Diablo 2 was goated. I probably sank thousands of hours into Diablo 2. It's a fun game. I think it was $30 for the early access, and I say it's been worth it. Burn, motherfucker, burn. Path of Exile 2. I should really just, like, make a sticky of what the game is. Okay, we need to go down here. I like these boots I picked up a while ago. They turn all these bodies into, like, exploding little bombs. That's one of the reasons why I've been, like, able to stay alive so well.
Lightning.
So I'm a monk that is favoring fire and lightning. If anyone's curious. Normally I like to play warrior class, but this game does not seem to favor the warrior class, and I kept getting stuck at one part that had to do with honor. Saw that dude crawling.
Foul creature.
God damn, where do these guys keep coming from? Man, I remember when the hitbox was like, not the hitbox, but the ability to roll out wasn't there, and it was so tough. How do you stream it? Can you make a tutorial? I have a second PC running OBS. You don't need a second PC, I just happen to have one. And then I have OBS multi-streaming to TikTok, Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. I'm just using Atom Vertical. And I got a stream key for TikTok. Although you can probably use Stream Elements to do the same thing. Okay, so I think we're on the right path now. Oh yeah, forgot about that little thing. Forgot about that little skill. Oh, I think I cleared him out already. Oh well, we'll take this boss on. Any GitHub repo? Yeah, I have some GitHubs. I wrote my own Twitch bot to tell when I'm live on stream to Mastodon. I still have to adapt it to work with Blue Sky. I've just been so burned out trying to work on that stuff and work stuff and all the other projects I have and trying to get my radio working. Ooh, that was close. Keep forgetting about my area of effect spells. Hey, leveled up. Okay, come on. That's right. That's right. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Bro, did you not just see me take out the big guy? And you think you're gonna have a little chance against the little old me? I stream on TikTok with Linux. I use OBS. The same steps as you would do on Windows. But I do have a dedicated stream box that is running Windows, but the steps would be the same. The ATEM vertical plugin does work for Linux. This is Path of Exile 2. Okay, so... more critical damage. Tenfold attacks. Which way do I want to go with my skills? Freeze build up. Bell blade. I can get a jewel socket there. Then what would I want? Okay. Good question. What do I want? I'm Ubuntu LTS, encrypted butter FS. Yeah, I'm basic and I just do extended 4. I used to do ZFS on my backup array over here, but... Ooh. if I hop 2 skills over here... Oh. It grants evasion rating as well as... melee aligned. Which Linux is best for OBS? I'm using Zorin. There is no best for any particular app. They all use basically the same packages. The workflow is more or less different. You might find some nuanced differences in how they're configured, but there is no best. There's only what is best for you. I like Pop OS. Some people like Zorin. You know? I also use Cubes OS for other things, but that's a totally different bag we're not going to unpack right now. What to do, what to do, what to do. Using the grants energy shield as well as... Let's get more intelligence. Work our way over to here to get more life per enemy killed. Okay, so do we need to go south? Wait, did I, like, completely clear an area that I have already cleared? Hey, Robert, I'm doing alright. OBS equals PPA or flat pack. Either one's fine. I generally tend to prefer flat packs. But that's just a me thing. Flat packs at least allow a little bit of sandboxing, and you don't have to worry about the dependencies nearly as much. Alright, let's put this stash away. Alright, let's go to the waypoint. No, there's nothing to apologize for, Mary. Everyone has to learn, you know, basically. You're so used to, like, the paradigm of what's better in terms of, like, Mac versus Windows versus Linux, that inside of Linux, it's really more about flavors. The reason why distributions are also referred to as flavors often is because that's literally what it is. It's a different flavor. Is chocolate necessarily better than vanilla? Okay, that's a bad example. Chocolate is definitely better than vanilla. But there is good vanilla out there that I will definitely take. You know, it's just like that. Some people like mint chocolate chips. Some people like banana fudge, you know. Some like Rocky Road more. But does that inherently make it better or worse? No, it's a flavor. It's not the same thing as like Mac versus Windows versus Linux versus FreeBSD. Like, well, even FreeBSD and Linux, it's really close. But you get the point. I don't have time to configure the full system. I can, but not anymore. Yeah, see, that's what I basically have come to as well. When people are like, why don't you do Arch or anything? Because I just want to be able to install the operating system and have it work. I don't want to tinker with it. I don't want to troubleshoot with it too much. I just want it to work And then if there is the occasional issue, yeah, we'll come across it. Oh, how's the audio, by the way? This is Path of Exile 2. Gonna be right back. My dog is barking up a storm and I want to figure out what he's going on about. Okay, so I think I fixed the audio issues that were going on before. I'm just gonna go back to town, take a quick bathroom break, and we will be back to this, and I'm gonna check out what my dog's barking about. I don't think someone's at the door, but we'll see. Alright, so be right back. Where's the BRB screen? Okay. So my dog was apparently barking at a female dog that was nearby. That's what that was about.
Lightning! Creature.
You know, I wonder if arachnophobes would freak out at this game. Probably. My first Ubuntu was jaunty. What was that? What version was that? 8? .904. Oh. I started with Ubuntu when it was, what? 4? I came from the world of Debian. I like the fact that I can use the wall to enhance my little fusillades. Nope, Path of Exile 2. Similar to Diablo, but better. Oh yeah, I need to... What is it? There was a thing to show...
Foul creature.
Oh, this is still Path of Exile too. I do want to get back to doing Fallout and a few other games later. But this is a nice game to at least, you know, get into. Alright. Where are we going now? A Quake Golem. Honestly, I'm kind of basic with desktop environments, and I kind of like GNOME. At least the way Pop! OS has it. Because I came from the world of Mac, and that's a little bit more familiar to me. Well, I came from Windows and Mac. I was a Windows user, and then switched to Mac because I needed it for the Unixy-like workflow that was a little bit more stable on the laptop, until Mac actually just pissed me off. Okay, come on.
Feel the shock.
There we go. Feel like if I'm... Hey! All damage shocks.
Arms for the monastery. Cursed bones.
Nice. Nice. Improves the quality of a martial weapon. Oh, my quality is maxed out. Improves the quality of a skill gem. Interesting. Okay, so what do we want to turn into level 6? Fusillade turns 30 to 37 damage. 5 seconds with a 44 to 54 wall. Orb of Storms deals 5 to 8, 16 to 24 with chaining 3 times, lowering the amount of bolts. Okay, let's upgrade my Storm. Oh, I see. Nice. How much can I make at entry-level cybersecurity? So it really depends on geographically where you're at. But I've seen people in my area, again, low cost of living area, make 50K out the gate, sometimes more. What is Linux? An operating system that isn't Mac or Windows. Graphics look clean. What's the GPU? It's an NVIDIA 3070. Texas? Texas, you can probably do about the same. Depending on the area you're in, though. Because I know, like, Austin's a little bit more, but you'll get paid a little bit more. So, geographically, it adjusts, but you can do pretty well with cybersecurity. I've been in the field for a while, and I'm making 6 figures. Low 6 figures. Okay, so let's compare these masks. Plus 10% to cold resistance. Okay, so we've definitely got more evasion and energy shield. Plus 1 to level of all minion skills. Plus 14 cold resistance. 2.8% life.
Here for a story?
Random mana flask.
Do not wander.
Okay, so I wonder how an FPS game would look like in Linux. Look fine. It's the same hardware. Plus 19 to max mana. Keep that for later, just in case. I've done a few FPS games. Like Doom and a few others. They'll look the same because it's gonna be the same video game. In fact, they've already been proving that Linux can run some games faster. Unfortunately, Microsoft hasn't really done much to improve the performance of their operating system and just added more and more bloat. In fact, the only issues that I have with this game are sometimes the audio crackling. I think we fixed that, though. And, what do you call it? Network. Come on. EAC does not allow to change fidelity of CPU and nice. Forget what Win calls it in Fortnite. Process priority. Honestly, never been interested in playing Fortnite or a bunch of those other games. You've not been on OwlSec in a while. Why? Life? Busy? I kind of tend to hang around my local DEF CON and my Discord these days. Nothing against OwlSec, but I feel like there's not much of value there that I can gain out of it from a knowledge level. Nothing against those peoples there, but it just feels like the vibe is shifted. Nothing against Sir Ho or any of them. Just been busy with life and just haven't felt like it gives me that much value in the server there. Time is the most valuable thing. You can only spend it once. You'll never get it back. Okay, we're going up the stairs.
Feel the shock!
The traitor Balbala has been sentenced to 1,000 years of suffering as a djinn, bound in this place of her dishonor. Let no woman or man of Marrakech blood enter her prison before her time is served.
Bound as a djinn. That bites.
Nice to see you here. Hey, it's good to see you. Ain't my place to question this. Follow a whisper, but best be careful. Spirit guide you.
Alright, let's follow this wisp.
Stay on it. The spirit's made his choice. Time to finish this. Don't give it a chance to recover.
God damn, there's so much going on in this.
Finish it. Come on now. Let's end this. Finish it. Aye.
2 orbs of augmentation. Hot damn. And a new topaz ring. totally forgot there was a whole other section of spells that I had to hold control for.
Shock!
Where'd you download a distro that let you play games on it that well? Just Pop OS. Almost all Linux distros will play pretty well, because they all run pretty much the same software. Just install Steam, hit play. Pop OS just happens to have NVIDIA drivers pre-installed out the box.
Horrid creation!
You're welcome. But yeah, Pop OS is my preferred distro that I daily for games and stuff. Oh, I almost got another level. Two-thirds to another level.
Feel the shock!
Nice. Come on, you pile of bones. Alright, 3/4 of the way to a new level.
Thunder!
Wait, alright. Where are we going from here? Do we link back? Sweet. So there was a checkpoint over here, so let's check what's over here, so we don't miss anything. All right, let's go back up.
Something has been sealed away here with
Ooh.
great ire.
Now, Jindak, I prove myself.
Balbala.
Face me.
Okay, come on. Oh, I always forget about her daggers. Shit, poison gas.
Face me.
See, when I was a frickin' warrior, I would tank her. But now as a monk, I gotta move. Stay away from that poison cloud.
Lightning!
Come on. Okay, where's she gonna? There she is. God damn it. Did that just glitch out on me?
Something has been sealed away here with great ire.
Yes, this is Linux.
Now, Jindak, I prove myself. Face me. Kundek. Face me. Hey. Barrier. Visions of death.
Okay.
Kundek. Face me. Hey. Face me.
Thunder!
Visions of death. Barrier. Face me.
Alright, gotta back up, try to get my shield back.
Hey. Hey. Visions of terror.
Come on. This is Path of Exile too. Like Diablo, but better.
Thunder!
Oh yeah. Like Diablo 2 is definitely goated, do not get me wrong. But ever since Diablo 2, it's been kind of downhill. I would say this is more of the spiritual successor to Diablo. Shit. I am a monk. I do normally like to play as warrior, but I was having issues playing as warrior with the honor stuff for a while. So I decided to give Monk a try. I think I'm level 20, 21 now. That was close.
Face me. Face me. Aria.
Oh, come on.
Atun. Visions of Judgment. Aria. Face me. Face me. Face me. Mists of slumber.
All right, I gotta find her.
Face me.
Lightning.
Face me. Hey. Aria. Hey.
God damn.
Atun. Visions of Judgment. Sun's wrath. Face me. On deck. Atun. Nakai.
Okay, come on. Come on.
Atun. Visions of Judgment.
Halfway there. No! Motherfucker.
Something has been
I'm
sealed
gonna kill her.
with great ire. So this is the legendary traitor.
She was always a tough one for me, as I recall.
Face me. Visions of terror. Sun's wrath. Attune. Wounded. Die. Barrier. Attune. Attune.
Thunder!
Face me.
Ooh, that was close. Gotta pay attention to my health.
Sun's wrath. Barrier. Face me. Attune. Barrier. Face me. Wounded. Die. Visions of death. Barrier. Attune.
Okay, come on. Goddamn. Oh, I hit outside the menu. I hit the chat box on accident.
Face me. Wounded. Mists of face me. Wounded. Attune. Die. Wounded. Die. Attune. Vision.
Shit.
Shock!
Die. Face me. Die. Attune. Barrier. Die.
Okay, so the quarterstaff attack is taking too long. So I gotta time that right.
Sun's wrath. Attune. Barrier. Face me. Die. Wounded.
Come on. Gotta stay out of the circle. Basically, whenever she does her Mrs. Ceramide or whatever the hell she calls it, you have to find her. Come on. Get away from the daggers. Shit, where'd you go?
Face me. Face me.
Come on. Okay, come on. Come on. Almost there.
Lightning!
Come on. Hooray!
A coin?
Okay. Level 6. Interesting. Okay, Wind Blast. Ice Strike. Tempest Bell.
Tempest's Bell must be charged up by striking enemies with melee attack.
Okay, we'll just upgrade that. Completing this trial will allow you to choose your ascendancy class.
Allow me to repay you for freeing me from my imprisonment. By my right as Jinn, I invite you to
Foul
participate
creature.
in the trial of the seconds. There I can earn my rest, and you may prove yourself
Oh, that's right.
of the wisdom
I died, so all these monsters get respawned over here, even though I cleared the area.
Shock!
All right. Kind of surprised so many people have still not heard or played this game, because it's pretty popular. Weak ass spiders. Oh, come on. Smash, smash, smash.
I must maintain a fine balance. I have no room for that.
Alright, 60% increased chance to ignite. I do need a stronger staff, I guess. Let's see if we can level this up into a decent one.
Quickly.
Young one.
The topaz ring. Let's see, 53 armor. Okay. What's this do? Lightning from a hit. Advanced level 6 malice. Alright, let's see. Oh, this is level 6 firebolt as well. Gain 9 life. Get this working. I tried everything to get Overwatch 2 working, but it cannot load. Overwatch 2 is pretty simple. I just used Lutris and it worked. %53 increased fire damage. Spell damage. Oh, God. Come on. Damn it. Not what I wanted. Does Lutris run Steam? No, Lutris is its own thing. You don't need Steam to play games. Steam just happens to be the easiest way to run games, and I'm running games through Steam with this using Proton GE instead of the regular Proton. But Lutris is just another way to play games. Like, you can also use Heroic Launcher like I use for Rocket League and stuff. For Epic and GOG games.
The traitor Balbala has been sentenced to 1,000 years of suffering as a djinn, bound in this place of hurt.
What's up, Kara? How's it going? Try it again, but if I have to install Windows again, I'm gonna cry. You don't have to install Windows. Lots of people in my Discord are gaming on Linux, so you can get tips from a lot of us, not just me. What's up, Chris Unchecked? Oh no! They thought they had me cornered. Alright, what passive skill do I need next? Support gem capacity. Uh, 2 point of mana. Life is 448. Cool.
Thunder!
I don't know why I'm taking the long way around, but here we are. Sweet. Alright, we're at the Halani gates. Let's see how much further we can push for an hour.
Let us see what the Faradin have in store for me.
Hold them back while I open the gate!
Thunder!
We must open!
Because vid on online safety basics is still up. Was it one of my TikTok videos? It probably still is, but I'm moving to more YouTube stuff because TikTok is hard to search through and catalog items. Uncut gems. Alright, let's see where we can go from here.
Thunder!
Alright, come on. Sweet, exploding bodies. Okay, so where do we go from here? One little boulder ant. That's really all you thought you could do? Okay, cool. Where do we go from here?
Thunder!
If we can allow the caravan through all three gates, my warriors will swarm them under.
Be unmade!
Onward! Give these demons no quarter!
Hey, Bedrock, how's it going? Oh, you're starting a new job? Nice. What'd you get?
I've no room for that.
Food delivery with a bike. Huh, not bad. Alright, we're gonna go back to the caravan.
What have you learned?
Young one. So, you really? No need to rush.
Okay, let's see. What kind of weapons you got? Let's see, level 4 firebolt. 28 to 57. Yeah, I feel like I need to, definitely get a better quarterstaff and weapons overall. Three life per enemy hit.
Thank you. Blessings.
Elixir. Going fine. Can't work for more. Fit 4 hours a day. Yeah, I can see that. Alright, let's see. What's that part buckle? What's that part buckle?
What?
Yeah, I definitely need to get a more powerful staff.
I will tell your tale.
I have to go through and clear out my stash. Let's see how well this quarterstaff handles.
Let the tide of war flow. Pitiless wretch. Feel the shock.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we got this box over here, and boy, this unleashed a lot of strong dudes. don't think I can just use a focus. Path of Exile 2, that's what we're playing. Okay, come on. Oh, this is Path of Exile 2. It's a Diablo-like game, but it's way better than Diablo 4. Like, this is what Diablo 4 should have been. Oh yeah, runs smooth on Linux. Most games run smooth on Linux. It's more of an issue of, like, the few bad developers that are insisting on kernel-level anti-cheat that are a problem than anything. I haven't had an issue with this game on Linux since day 0. The only issue I had was, like, the same issues Windows users were complaining about. Like, especially when those servers were overloaded when the game first came out. I need that freaking thing taking weight up. Gonna get this game later on my Legion Go. Yeah, it's a great game. I think the pre-release is only like $30, but eventually it's gonna be a free-to-play game if it's not already free-to-play. Yeah, I like this game a lot better than Diablo 4. I'd put this up there with Diablo 2, if that tells you how good this is.
Wrath of the king! Thunder! Wrath of the king!
Can you party in Diablo? Yeah, you can party up. I just haven't done that.
Dethrone you, Sycamore, and leave you to the sand! Wrath of the king! I shall dethrone you, Sycamore, and leave you to the sand!
Distro of choice. I've been using Pop OS for my daily needs, and then I use Cubes OS for security-related stuff. Parrot OS when I need an ethical hacking distribution.
My hand! Wrath of the king! will fall! Wrath of a king!
I completely forgot about the middle button.
I shall dethrone you, Sekama, and leave you to the sand!
Yeah, Papa's what I daily, and it works fine for me. I've been using it for a few years.
You are unworthy! I shall dethrone you, Sekama, and leave you to the sand! The Malekith will fall! Wrath of a king! No escape! I shall dethrone you, Sekama, and leave you to the sand! You are unworthy! The Malekith will fall by my hand! I shall dethrone you, Sekama! Wrath of the king! The Malekith will fall by my hand! You are unworthy! I shall dethrone you, Sekama, and leave you to the sun.
Come on, you little bastard. Halfway.
I shall dethrone you, Sekama, and leave you to the sand. The Malekith will fall. Wrath of a king. The Malekith will fall by my hand!
Come on, you bastard.
Unworthy! The Malekith will fall by my hand! The Malekith will fall by my hand! Wrath of the king! I shall dethrone you, Sekama, and leave you to the sands! I shall dethrone you, Sekama, and the Malekith will fall by my hand! I tried to seek peace, and the Sekamas disgraced me. Left my corpse to rot in the sand. This time, we choose war. We shall finish this. Not today.
Make haste! We must not escape!
I have seen the face of the enemy, and it is hatred.
Alright, so we gotta go down the stairs.
He called us the very
Making sure I'm not missing anything.
This is no natural sandstorm. We must battle sorcery with sorcery. Let us return to the carriage.
caravan and entreat Zarka's wisdom.
Alright, cool. Guess we're going back to the town.
The Countess has you. We must reach.
German rock and control? There is something we would have. In modern times. Speak to us all.
Ooh, a level 7 firebolt. Okay, so we have okay, so we gotta refund some passives.
Let's try something different.
Okay, so a level 11, 20 strength. Oh, okay.
Quickly.
So
Let's try something different.
okay, cool. Some level 7 skills. Okay, quarterstaff. Siphoning strike.
When used on a shocked enemy, Siphoning Strike will release a blast of light. Stormwave is a lightning area attack that covers a lot of ground and can be used on the move. Stormwave is a
50% of damage into physical.
lightning area attack that covers a lot of ground and can be used on the move. Stormwave is a lightning area.
Hmm. Okay, so Tempest Flurry, definitely. skills panel. Contagion, flame wall. Cool.
Ah, yes. You have your orders.
Okay, so let's see. Beth. Go to the Crown of Stone.
This is no place for mortals.
Valley of the Titans.
Loathsome creature. Feel the shock!
Okay, cool. Let's try to at least get one more level gained before I head out. We're at 84%. Okay, so who's next?
unleashed!
Sweet. All right. We're almost at another level.
Some creature.
Okay.
What wonders and horrors.
No escape!
Okay, let's see. What's next?
I've no room for that.
Okay. Go back to town. Drop off these items.
Careful, story.
Okay, so we don't have enough for a firebolt.
I will tell your tale.
Sweet. Okay. Shit. Didn't pay attention to my health.
Power cage, power wasted. Cursed foe. Shock. It is done.
Sweet. Alright, what's next? This little area? Sweet. All right, cool. Sweet. All right. Moving on.
Thunder!
Sweet. All right, cool. Got those guys taken care of. Sweet. All right. Yeah, I go live usually a couple times a week. The Shield of Shakti. Yeah, I restarted this game a little while ago, because there was the expansion pack, and then as a warrior, I just got stuck in areas because of that honor system thing.
Fury unleashed!
All right, come on. Ah. Damn it. You ever check out that Slate truck? Yeah, I've checked it a few streams ago. I said I'm interested in possibly getting one. But I think this is a good stopping point for me. Because, I'm playing for a couple of hours. And, definitely want to get to sleep. Got work in the morning, unfortunately. But thank you all for joining me. Talking cybersecurity, talking tech, as well as gaming on Linux and everything. I will be back on stream maybe tomorrow. Definitely not Wednesday. I have a class thing for at least a few weeks. But be working on ham radio stuff. There'll be YouTube videos coming out in the near future as well. I just had one that was released yesterday. I have a couple others that are already recorded and edited. I just didn't get around to doing them because I was doing all the house stuff. But if you haven't already, make sure to follow me on TikTok, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Twitch. I even have a Kick. I'm playing with that. We'll see how it goes. But I'm on YouTube. I'm on everywhere. Make sure to check the links in the bio if you haven't already, as well as join the Discord and the Matrix server. Thank you all for joining me. If you're over on Twitch, stick around for the raid. Otherwise, stay safe, happy hacking, and I will see you next time.